Good morning to all of you out there. I'm Cito Beltran, and once again, you are watching Agenda, and we thank you for joining us this morning. It's May 28th, Thursday, and of course, as always, I remind you, you are watching us on Signal channels 8, Signal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as the Facebook platform of One News PH, facebook.com/OneNewsPH, and we request you to please share this with others who may not be unaware that they can watch us on Facebook already. And for those of you who have not yet enrolled on Signal, it's one of the best out there, and you will enjoy the programming that Signal offers. Now, today is a day of confusion, or actually it was yesterday. I'm also getting confused. I'm reminded of that song, Ball of Confusion, for those of you who grew up, who were already aware of life in the 70s. It was sung, I think, by The Temptations, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, written by Edwin Starr or someone like that. And why am I reminding you of the past? Why am I giving you a blast from the past regarding the Ball of Confusion? Because beginning yesterday, it seemed like we were having a beach volleyball game where we were tossing this ball of confusion up in the air. Because a few days ago, I think it was Monday, if I'm not mistaken, when President Rodrigo Duterte categorically said, walang bakuna, walang klase. No vaccines, no classes. And then it was kind of like a massage into no vaccine, no face-to-face classes. And now, yesterday, we hear the presidential spokesperson saying that enrollment will soon begin. We need to start up school. And that's where confusion just set in. And I have people writing to me via email, friends online asking, they're all confused. Ano ba talaga, kuya? As Filipinos would point it. What is the real deal? And that's the topic we will discuss later, because from the president's proclamation of no vaccine, no classes, now they're saying they will restart classes and they already want to do enrollments. Now, is this just messaging so that they can figure out how many people are actually going to enroll? Or is this just going to be dagdag pahirap sa pag-iisip ng marami, or an additional psychological mental burden to many parents who are now trying to figure out, is it safe to send kids to school? Can we afford to send kids to school? How are we going to get kids to school? And will there be teachers brave enough to go to school? All that here on Agenda. In the meantime, let's go to the headlines of the Philippine Star. Here are the stories from the front page of the Philippine Star. In the middle of all the confusion surrounding the opening of classes, Malacanang Palace urges parents across the country to enroll their children in school. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says it is certain that classes will resume on the 24th of August. What's up in the air is whether the classes will be face-to-face or will take on alternative modes. Roque says children must enroll to make sure of their progress and promotion to the next level. He assures that the Department of Education is working on new ways to start formal learning, such as blended learning, to make sure that schooling continues without exposing students to the threat of COVID-19 virus. Last Monday, President Duterte thumbed down the opening of classes until a COVID-19 vaccine is developed. But Roque has since made it clear that Duterte was only referring to face-to-face classes. Next up, the health department says there are now over 100 candidate vaccines for COVID-19. And the agency is planning to give them primarily to the country's most vulnerable sectors once they are available. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said that they are in talks with the World Health Organization and several international companies to make sure that the Philippines has access to the vaccine once it's developed. Currently, the country is participating in the solidarity trial of the World Health Organization for vaccines against the coronavirus. News still on the pandemic. Palace sees the National Capital Region transitioning to General Community Quarantine or GCQ on June 1. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said, "We still have to wait for the decision of the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases or IATF," but he also said that the chances are Metro Manila will indeed shift to GCQ. Roque said this is based on his conversations with COVID-19 National Response Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. and Interior Secretary Eduardo Año. Roque made the statement a day after the meeting of Metro Manila mayors in which all the chief executives also voted in favor of a shift to GCQ. In other news, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA has a new chief. Director General Aaron Aquino has been transferred to the Clark International Airport Corporation as President and Chief Executive Officer. Replacing Aquino as PDEA Director General is Wilkins Villanueva, who was Chief of the PDEA office in Mindanao. Palace spokesman Harry Roque clarified that President Duterte did not fire Aquino but only transferred him to a new post. And those are the headlines on the front page or the front page news of the Philippine Star. I've requested our team to add a press release that came our way yesterday, primarily because it gives us an opening or an introduction to the state of affairs in Metro Manila, in the NCR, if not in the entire country for that matter. I refer to a press statement of Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto. He released this press statement yesterday, and I quote, "Government officials reminded avoid pronouncements that cause GCQ or general confusion and questions. Kung maaari po sana na anumang bagong alituntunin sa traffic, lalo na sa coding sa Metro Manila, ay maipahiwatig sa lengguwaheng simple at madaling maintindihan. Kung ang mga ito ay pinapanday at pinag-uusapan pa lang, huwag na munang ilabas ang patingi-tingi para maiwasan ang kalituhan. Traffic rules like traffic signs on the road must be simple and easy to understand. Tentative rules released by installment only create confusion among residents of a megapolis where commuting is a daily struggle and whose daily lives revolve around surmounting road traffic. In general, quarantine rules and regulations, especially those on health, mobility, social assistance, must be communicated clearly to the man on the street. Trial balloons, thought balloons, thinking out loud moments run counter to the need for clarity of messages coming from the government. Excuse me. People tasked to implement and explain rules. More so, those who wield bullhorns should avoid making ambiguous pronouncements that only lead to GCQ or general confusion and questions. End quote. That is from the office of Senator Senate President pro tempore Ralph G. Recto. And the reason I'm reading that press release, which we don't normally do, is because it hits the bullseye. Right now, there is just so much confusion nationwide. And I, for one, have written about this in my column on in the Philippine Star, where I've said we need to ask a timeout. President Duterte needs to call a timeout with his cabinet, with his IATF, and with the branches of government. Not literally not do anything, but timeout in terms of combating COVID-19 and the policies involved, because the problem is there's just so many rules being spewed out, and Senator Recto was correct. Half of them are thought bubbles, trial balloons, or Indian giver kind of policies where they issue it today, and when someone bitches tomorrow, they pull it back the next day. And we just really need to call a timeout. In any case, that's our intro for our first interview today. We have with us attorney Joseph Noel Estrada. He is an education lawyer, not an ex-president, not an ex-senator, and not my friend from Green Hills. This is Joseph Estrada, the lawyer, is one of the education advocates in the country. Joseph, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Cito, and to all your viewers, and especially our educators and parents.
I'm sorry for the long-winded introduction to this topic, but I'm just giving vent to the frustration and confusion of so many Filipinos, many of whom are communicating with me na pwede bang pag-usapan ano ba itong pinagsasabi ng gobyerno? Sabi, walang papasok. Ngayon, lahat papasok. Sabi, social distancing. Paano tayo magso-social distancing? I'd like to know your insights, because you are on the ground. You work with all these people in the education sector. What's your take on this?
Well, first of all, we share the education sector share the same sentiment and observation from the statement of the president. But let me assure everyone that the preparation, at least for the private education sector, has been consistent ever since. Now, since March, we've been preparing for the school opening, but without asking the students to report back to the schools physically. So all of these statements, whether they keep on changing or not, our preparations remain the same. But last Monday, when it was announced that there will be no school opening, of course it sounded the alarm to everyone, because that would mean complete shutdown of the school opening and education all over the country, regardless of the delivery mode.
Okay.
So yeah.
Go ahead.
And so, but we are in a constant coordination and communication with different levels of the government, from the legislature to the IATF to our education agencies. And I think it's also clear, at least for us, that we're preparing for the school opening. For the public school system, it's August. For the private education sector, we may open early as provided by law, but definitely it will be under flexible learning options, whether it's online, offline, open, distance, but definitely it will not be residential or face-to-face learning until we are really convinced, not because of pronouncements from our government officials, but unless the schools are really assured that it will be safe for our students to come back, definitely we will ask them to come back.
Yeah, Joseph, that's where the problem starts to happen, because you want some measure of assurance that it's safe to come back. Now, let's bring out all the factors. The first factor is the safety of the students. Now, how do we go about first, yung enrollment? Sabi mo, it can be online. It doesn't have to be physical. Okay, fine. Then, what about the conduct of the classes? Are we talking, kasi alam mo, para nang naging kape ang usapan eh. Meron pa ngayong blended learning. Imbis na sabihin na lang combined learning or combined modules, blended learning pa ang tawag ngayon. But in any case, the safety of the students, do you mean we will test all the teachers? Do you mean we will test all the students? Do you mean that there should be physical classes, or ano ba, blended learning or distance learning ba?
First of all, the physical reporting of the students in the schools, in campus, that's not within the plans, no? Within the immediate plans of the school. Definitely,
Okay.
whether it's, when we say blended, it's a combination of sorry for the technicalities. What they refer to as synchronous and asynchronous, or online, or open or distance learning. It's a combination of all of these modes, no? Ibig sabihin, well, yung synchronous, all of the students will learn at the same time, but using technology like video conferencing. That's one. But there are other modes that do not require interconnectivity or the internet. Like, for example, delivering learning materials to the homes, no? Or assigning points.
I think the bottom line, Joseph, is this papasok ba sila sa eskwela o hindi? Because if they are required to go to school, and if the teachers are required to be present in the schools, the educators, then we need to test everybody with the swab. And even that's not a fail-safe measure, because yes, you may test them coming into the school, but they go back and forth every day. So, what? You cannot test every day. Mauubusan ng dugo yung mga bata na yan after 300 days kaka-testing. So it just doesn't seem to make sense to call back the students inside the classroom. I mean, I'm for education. I'm for carrying the classes onwards. Sabi ko na nga nun kay Congressman Mons Romulo tuloy, kay Congressman Roman Romulo, gamitin na natin yung mga community radio stations that have long been belittled kasi it's an alternative course. Now, kayo sa private school, what would be the impact in the private school sector if students did not have to come to class?
I think it's not only in the private education sector. We would like to start on looking at the impact of delaying, further the school opening. First, on the students, it will delay their learning process, their development, and in fact, if we, based on our observation, if we open later than August, effectively we have already delayed one school year for them. Why? Because if you open in September, under a 10-month, regular 10-month school year, it will end in June next year. Also, again, under normal circumstances, June 2021, 2022 will open, diba, next year. But since we're opening delayed now, it will push further back the school year. So, delay ka na kaagad ng 1 year noon.
But what's wrong with the delay of 1 year, Joseph? I'm sorry, hindi ako nakikipag-away sa'yo. Like I told you, pagkwentuhan natin to. What's wrong with the 1 year delay? I got delayed by like 2.5 years. I got delayed in high school by 1 year when I had the spinal surgery. I was delayed by 1 year in college after a couple of SEM leaves. And I mean, I'd like to think, okay pa naman ako. My daughter took a gap year. She took 1 year homeschooling, and it was one of the best that education modes we personally witnessed. I, as a journalist and as a parent, saw the benefits of homeschooling for our daughter. I'm just worried kasi, Joseph, that we're obsessed with tradition. Hindi kasi tradition, kaugalian na yan na we open in May or June, or now we will open in August. So we have to do like we've always done.
Well, it's actually not so much on the scheduling, but again on the development of children. Remember when the ECQ started in March, it was abrupt. No, our education system was not prepared for that, for a 3 month or so suspension of classes. So we're not prepared for that. So imagine the especially the students in primary education, especially those in the public school system. It has stopped since March, and we will start in August. Remember, just imagine the disruption in their learning, and even before the ECQ, I think it has already been acknowledged our problems on proficiency, etc. So I think just first and foremost, that's why we're moving into flexible learning options. Health is really the priority.
Yeah.
Right? We're not pushing education on traditional based on schedule in the first place. That's why we're talking about all of these flexible learning options and policy and economic interventions of the government, so that we do not disrupt the education and learning of our students.
Okay, ganito na lang, Joseph. Let's just say I agree with you. Okay, no disruption of the education. Okay, the president said, kung wala, di maglaro sila or mag-aral sila at home. There's also the proposal for homeschooling. I think the bottom line that you and I could agree on is it's not face-to-face. Walang physical classes because there's just too many uncertainties. We could send our kids because some doctors are saying, oh, okay lang padala mga bata, bulletproof yung mga bata regarding COVID-19. But when they come home, I'm not bulletproof, my wife is not bulletproof, and they could bring home COVID-19 and kill us. And then there's this other question kasi, Joseph, which you as I don't know if you're a parent yet, but you are. Okay. No, here's a real question. There are so many parents who've had no jobs for 2 months, dug into their savings. And most of the Filipinos, maswerte na kung merong 3 months of their salary saved up for emergencies. Most of them don't, and they still have bills to pay. So my heart bleeds for many of them who are now saying, saan po kami kukuha ng pambayad ng matrikula?
Yeah, all of these issues we acknowledge, the economic adverse effects on the parents, not only on the schools, but we're all affected by this.
Yeah.
And we are of course also considering that. But I think one important issue is really the access to education, because the bottom line, it is the parents' prerogative whether they will send their kids to school. But the government should provide access to education and leave the decision making to the parents. But we cannot completely remove that option for them.
Under normal times, Joseph.
Yeah.
Naalala ko tuloy si Jokoy pag kinakausap kita eh. Joseph. Okay. But here's the point, Joseph, okay? In the United States, they're talking about lawsuits. It is the choice of the parents to send kids to school. It is the responsibility of government to provide access to education. But you being a lawyer, who becomes legally liable if by mandating that we send kids back to school, children start dying because of COVID-19? I'm not being a negatron here, no? But you are the lawyer in the room. So who's going to be liable if kids start getting sick, die? And may nagsabi nga, kung ma-hospital yung anak namin, sino magbabayad ng pa-hospital?
Well, siguro to put in context muna, gusto ko lang mag-comment and sagutin yung first issue niyo kanina.
Okay.
We agree, definitely. There's no face-to-face. I can say at this point, alam mo, ang decision-making natin ngayon, policy environment changes increment of 1 week eh. Pero I can say, at least, di ba pa iba-iba ho. Pero kami, on the part of the private schools, we're preparing for remote learning. Regardless of the definitely no student, no, yung 30 million students will not report back physically to the schools. Yung share namin do sa 30 million, no, mga 5 million na nasa private schools eh. For us, then out of the question po yun. We have to comply. Now, if we're talking about liability, of course, primarily liable yung school, but it has to prove diligence, no? And diligence, when we say diligence, we have to comply with government regulations, di ba? If the government
Okay.
says it is safe and then we complied, it's not our fault, di ba?
Okay.
We're really preparing for a remote delivery. Definitely not face-to-face.
No face-to-face remote delivery. Diyan ka lang, no? Stay with us. I will just introduce our co-panelist this morning. We have with us Mr. Benjo Basas. He's the president of the Teachers Dignity Coalition. Benjo, good morning sa'yo. Oops, okay, baka naka-off yung mic mo, Benjo. Hindi kita nadidinig. Paki-check mo lang yung mic setting mo. Let's try again.
Yes,
Yan.
Cito. Okay na po. Magandang umaga po, Sir Cito. And of course, ating pinagtititagang lawyer po, si Attorney Erap. Attorney, good morning.
Estrada. Okay.
Kami magkaibigan yan.
Okay. Benjo, matanong ko lang, no? Kasi pinag-uusapan namin ni Joseph itong ang desisyon ng gobyerno to send children back to school, and talaga nagkakaglituhan na ang maraming mga magulang. But ang hindi natin, at least nakapagsabi na sila, Joseph, as far as they're concerned, remote learning sila, walang physical classes. And ang priority nila, safety ng mga estudyante, hindi yung kita ng eskwela. Ngayon, kayo naman sa Teachers Dignity Coalition, hindi napapag-usapan yung safety ng mga teachers eh. Ang tanong ko, may kabag ba kayo? May nervous ba kayo? Are you afraid that given the uncertainty of the situation, para kayong nagbubuwis buhay? Kasi ang dami ninyong papasok sa mga classroom with no guarantee kung 1 out of 55 or 60 ay may COVID.
Tama po. Opo, in fact, yun po yung dahilan, basically yung primary reason kung bakit po kami ay nag-raise ng concerns dito sa reopening ng klase na sa August ay syempre yung health reason andito tayo sa gitna ng pandemya and pag tinignan po natin yung gobyerno po natin yung ating bansa ngayon pa lamang po halos nagpapasimula ng mga testing na ginagawa po at kahapon yata yung unprecedented na COVID cases na recorded in the past I think past month or so. So ibig sabihin po hanggang August 24 we could anticipate. Hindi naman ako nagsasalita as expert sa health or sa mathematics pero we could anticipate na baka ito po ay lumaki pa ng lumaki. Imagine sa isang testing period na ginawa po diyan sa Mandaluyong ay 250 na tricycle drivers ang nag-positive po doon sa ginawang rapid testing So ito lang yung mga natetest po. At syempre andito din kami sa position na tignan po muna natin primarily ano ba talaga ang sitwasyon ng COVID pandemic dito sa ating bansa bago tayo mag-usap ng bubukas ng klase. Of course, I'm pertaining perhaps doon sa we're pertaining of course doon sa face-to-face na schooling Mukhang nagkakasundo naman tayo binabati din naman ni Attorney Erap na ang face-to-face ay hindi naman nila nire-recommend. Even the DepEd po, hindi naman nire-recommend ang face-to-face. Kaya nga po, ang sinasabi po namin dito, kung magkaroon ng further delay, halimbawa, hindi August 24, mag-open ang schooling po natin. Wag na natin sabihin klase kasi pag sinabi natin open yung klase, nagkakaroon ng misconception na papasok yung mga bata sa classroom, pati yung teachers. School
Correct.
opening na lamang po ang pag-usapan po natin. We could buy time of course para maghanda mag-prepare ang system ng yung private schools po I assume ready sila dito sa technology based na schooling po. Meron silang mga internet, meron silang mga gadgets, may mga gamit. Yung mga bata nila, most of those students ay may access po. Pero hindi po ganyan ang sitwasyon natin sa public school Pag pinag-usapan na po natin ang modalities po ng pagtuturo at pag-aaral, abay hindi po magkakapareho Sabi nga ng isang professor po sa PNU, merong digital divide. And this digital divide is of course brought about by the socio-economic divide rin sa ating bansa na kinakailangan po natin i-address Hindi po kami kailanman nanawagan na ipatigil ang opening ng ang school year 2020-2021. Skip natin yan. Hindi po yun po pwede. Kinakailangan magtuloy-tuloy. Pero nabanggit nyo rin kanina, Sir Cito, ano naman kung magkaroon ng few months delay or even a year, no? Pero kami nga po, tingin po namin, ang ating pinaninindigan, ano po, bigyan natin ng tamang panahon ang mga guro natin, ang mga magulang, ang mga bata, ang system at ang Department of Education mismo po, no, para makapaghanda sa iba't ibang modalities kung hindi talaga tayo po pwede ng face-to-face. At who knows, baka nga po sa January, ano po, sabi po kasi ng UP experts po, no, anong pang nakalipas ng mga buwan, ano po, by December ay baka pwedeng safe na, no? Although sinasabi ni Secretary Duque, August ay safe na, no? Pero kami po naninindigan, no, na baka po by January ay okay na po tayo, no, at kahit yung face-to-face ay maisagawa na po natin, ano po. And of course, may prediction nga si President Duterte, no, na by January ay meron ng bakuna, no? So yun po sana, no, ituloy natin ang pag-aaral na walang nadi-discriminate po na kahit isang
Okay. Ganito, no? I want to ask you this, your reaction to this suggestion. Kasi sinabi ko na rin to kay Congressman Romulo. Clearly, there is a digital divide. Hindi naman yata maganda kung sasabihin natin na, okay, private schools, kasi may pera kayo, mayroon kayong technology, sige, tuloy nyo na yung classes remotely. Public schools, no classes until maayos natin. The point I'm making is this, and I think this is shared by many. Let's just have a gap SEM or a gap year, whatever the case may be, i-set up natin lahat yung mga community radio stations, yung mga internet study program, lahat ng technology, put them in place in the barangays and all the public schools, and then let's go into the future of education. Kumbaga magtatanim tayo ngayon, pagkatas lulundag tayo to the modern modality of education where it's no longer conducted en masse in school buildings kasi sobrang daming estudyante. Would the private school, Joseph and Benjo, within the public school, kasi tuloy pa rin naman ang kabuhayan eh. We need to give work, we need to give jobs, and we need the teachers to be on the ground to help set up the system. But would your separate sectors support a 1-2 SEM gap, pahinga muna for the students, or mag-aral muna sila ng mga, di ba meron tayo nun, Benjo sa UP nun, ewan ko, o Joseph, yung electives, di ba? O mag-electives muna kayo ng mga topic sa bahay, habang kaming mga matatanda, inaayos namin yung sistema. 1-2 SEM gap or 1-year gap?
Well, for me, Cito, if our reason is because of the social divide, no, that we're saying, I do not agree that we will stop. We need to stop education for that reason, no? Because if we stop education, especially in the public school system, it will further marginalize the poor, no, and those who are discriminated because of their lack of capabilities under the modern.
Wait a minute, Joseph. I'll let Benjo speak for the poor, quote unquote, no? Kasi lagi na lang ginagamit siya na argument that it will further marginalize the poor. They're already marginalized. They can't be more marginalized than they already are. What I'm proposing and what many people are proposing is that we modernize our system so that the poor can be brought up to speed. Kumbaga, hindi mababase sa uniforme at address ng eskwelahan mo, kung hindi dun sa kaalaman mo online, on radio, on TV. Pero Joseph, dun sa private school, would you be willing to, teachers still go to work, schools still operate, maybe the schools will be given tax incentives or tax breaks to help public school set up their system. Kasi sabi nga ni Benjo, meron na kayong system eh. What if you guys are paid by government to adapt, to help schools in your area to modernize? Payag ba kayo nun, Joseph?
Well, that's what we're pushing for actually, no? For government stimulus package assistance, not only to the school but to the parents and to the teachers. It's not also accurate to say that the students in the private schools, they're well off, that they're not affected by the pandemic. We have majority of our students are also poor, no, and they're not ready also to go into this based on our survey, no?
Marami na lumilipat sa public school. As of yesterday, I heard from my contacts in the public school, sir,
Yeah.
naglilipatan na mga private school.
Yeah, but so my point is we can do all of these things. Yung suggestion natin, government should come in definitely, but we can prepare. We can address all of these gaps, economic and policy gaps, without stalling education. Yung gusto ko lang balikan kanina yung further marginalizing, siguro hindi na dun sa poor na public students, but even the poor in the private education schools. Yung sinasabi ko, it will widen further the gap, yung discriminating them further. Kasi po, yung merong may kaya na, they will continue education no? Whether it's online, kasi may kapasidad sila no? But the others, since it will be stopped, while we find ways when they can, where they can adapt, lalong lalayo yung gap kasi yung may kaya will continue whatever the environment is. So
Okay.
I think, I agree that government should step in and provide the capability of the student to move into the different learning modalities. Kung kailangan silang
Si Benjo naman. Si Benjo naman kasi hindi pa nakasalita si Benjo.
okay.
Mabilis na
Sorry.
sagot na lang, Benjo, kasi naubusan tayo ng oras. Go ahead, Benjo. What's your reaction?
Opo. But, on the contrary, attorney, with all due respect, of course, sa tingin nga natin, mas madi-discriminate yung mga mahihirap kapag tinuloy natin itong pasok, itong klase ngayon, na hindi po nakahanda yung system. Ganun pa rin ang aming position kasi nakita naman natin to sa ibang educational institutions po. Nakita po natin na pwedeng maghinto po. At pwedeng, yung binabanggit ko kanina, na meron tayong panahon para paghandaan po natin ito. At kasi pag tinuloy po natin ngayon, halimbawa, naiiwan yung isang sektor. At yung sektor na ito talaga yung dati ng mga marginalized. Ito talaga yung dati ng walang capacity. So, yun po yung hinihingi namin. Ihanda po natin lahat-lahat. Sabay-sabay po natin ihanda ang guro, ang mga bata, pati ang mga magulang. Take note, ang pinakamahalagang recovery natin, right after this pandemic, na nasa gitna pa lamang tayo ngayon, is the economic recovery. So, kagaya din po yan, pati yung mga magulang po ng mga bata sa public schools and even sa private schools, binanggit ni attorney kanina, well, they need to recover economically. Ang laki ng economic loss na nawala po sa atin at hindi ko nakikita na at this point in time ay wise na yung spending na meron na anuman yung pera na meron yung ating mga magulang, yung ating mga pamilya ay dito po natin gugugulin Patablahin naman muna natin po yung lahat ng ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na yung mga naandon. Of course, you're one with Attorney Estrada's organization na nananawagan po ng economic stimulus, ng assistance po, at naglabas na kami ng paulit-ulit na statements na yan tungkol po dyan na dapat po yung mga, lalo na yung mga private school teachers po na nawawalan ng sweldo dahil sila ay no work no pay, ang marami po dyan. So that thing baka ba't hindi natin ngayon pinag-uusapan needs to be addressed then siguro the soonest attorney.
Okay. Thank you, Benjo, and Joseph, thank you for a very lively discussion. Pasensya na kayo na imbis na nagtatanong lang, sumausaw na ako because I'm very passionate about education and you guys both know that. In any case, thank you, and don't worry, we will continue to invite you as things get hotter, and I'm sure they will. But in the meantime, please stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and God bless both of you and your families.
Thank you, Cito.
Salamat.
Okay, that's Attorney Joseph Estrada, the education lawyer, and Benjo Basas, president of the Teachers Dignity Coalition. In the end, I think what we discover right now is we have an opportunity to improve things. And for those people who keep arguing that if we don't push for the resumption of classes, nadinig nyo na po kay Benjo Basas mismo. Right now, dehado na. Lugi na sa labanan yung mga mahihirap. Pag tinuloy natin itong system of distance learning or remote education, and we do not set up the system so that even the poor and the marginalized have access, equal access to education and technology, they won't be further marginalized. They will be discriminated against. We'll go for a quick gap, and when we come back, more interviews here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching us on Signal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as the Facebook platform of One News PH. Up next, we have Chief Inspector Xavier Solda. Pakahirap na pangalan nito. Xavier Solda, Chief Inspector and Spokesperson of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. Chief Inspector Solda, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir Cito, good morning. Sir, I'm sure natatandaan niya ang name na yan sa DAP during your check of attendance.
Hindi, hanggang ngayon, nabubulol pa rin ako sa pangalan mo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, for those who are unaware, Xavier was one of my students, and I'm glad to see you. And finally, you will now have your examination on communication live on national TV.
Yes,
In any
sir.
case, Xavier, good morning to you, and nice to see you on the job. But may mga reports. I've received reports that there has been an alarming increase of COVID-19 patients among the detainees or persons denied of liberty. Matanong ko lang, is this true? Number one, is it true? Number two, is this a rise in statistics because of contamination, infection, or because of resulting from testing?
Okay, first, Sir Cito, I can confirm that we have confirmed cases sa mga facilities natin. In fact, it was reported already, and as of today, we've registered around 717 cases in all of our in our compromised facilities. But I allow me to clarify, Sir Cito, na these figures were the results of our testing in the compromised facilities. And ang ginawa naman ng BJMP po dito, we're able to isolate them. That's part of the preventive measures that we are doing. We have to detect, isolate, and then give them more focused medical care. That's part of the treatment. And we're hoping na sana mag-continue yung positive response ng positive development or progress among our PDL para ma-reintegrate na rin natin sila back to their respective cells.
What do you mean by the term compromised facilities?
Sir Cito, yung compromised facilities, ito po yung mga jail facilities natin na nagkaroon ng cases. So currently, we have 469 facilities. And based po doon sa records namin, meron po kami around 20 facilities, male and female dormitories across the country in 4 regions only. So we have cases in Calabarzon, we have cases in National Capital Region, in Central Visayas, and then we have a case in the Mimaropa. We have a latest case of one in Mimaropa.
Okay, the ones that you mentioned, of course, are the established hotspots naman. So there's na kumbaga hindi that's to be expected that, like for NCR, it follows the probability of COVID happening in the facilities there would be normal because we are the center of the Philippine COVID universe. But yung Mimaropa, medyo bago yata yan. Ano yan? Imported case o local community infection? Paano nangyari dyan?
Actually, Sir Cito, this report just came in this morning.
Mm.
So, i-check pa po natin ito. I think this came from uh, kasi ito, Sir Cito, sa Bansud District Jail, doon po tayo nagkaroon ng kaso. So currently,
Bansud. Where
yes,
is Bansud?
I think this is in Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro.
Okay,
Ito,
okay, okay.
nagkamali.
Yeah.
We just still need to check, no, kasi latest information po ito na nakarating po sa atin.
Okay. Now, how is the BJMP managing COVID-19 in the population of its detainees? Do you have sufficient number of test kits? Paano ba yung isolation, screening, etc. Lalo na for new inmates?
Well, meron po tayong protocol na in-observe dyan, Sir Cito, and that's anchored on the protocol of the Department of Health. First, on how we are managing them sa facility natin, given the congestion, no, of most of our facilities. Actually, we have in 469 facilities, 300 are congested. So ang focus po natin is doon sa implementation ng precautionary measures natin. That's the main strategy that we are doing in coordination with the Department of Health and the local epidemiology units. One is, of course, part ng precautionary measures natin, same, meron po tayong continuous health monitoring, and part of that, yung pagsusot pa rin ng face mask, thermal scanning. We also have to do reverse isolation. When we say reverse isolation, those who are vulnerable, especially the elderly or yung may pre-medical condition, we really have to isolate them. And for those PDL naman na wala namang nararamdaman, they're not showing COVID-19-like symptoms, still we have to remind them to observe proper hygiene and yung continuous po na decontamination po natin ng ating mga facilities. As to test kits, Sir Cito, those suspected cases, we are coordinating it with the local epidemiology units, and so far thankful po kami sa mga LGUs po natin, and dito po natin nakita how important the partnership is between the LGUs and the national government agencies when it comes to dealing with the COVID-19 cases problems. Like in Cebu City, in Zamboanga, and here in Quezon City, nagpalabas pa ng executive order yung mga respective local chief executives natin, yung ating po mga mayors, for the law enforcement agencies to ensure that before na ikukumit yung bagong kaso sa loob ng mga facility namin or yung mga bagong PDLs, they have to undergo testing, and should we release them after they serve their sentence or talagang kailangan na po silang mapalaya subject to the orders from the court, is dapat din po mag-undergo sila ng quarantine or testing.
Okay, you earlier, Xavier, you mentioned yung wearing of face mask. Is that just for the BJMP staff, personnel, or pati na sa mga detainees?
All of our PDLs, Sir Cito, dapat po nakasuot talaga sila ng face mask, as well as our personnel. And by the way, Sir Cito, there are good stories now that I would like also to mention, like the Philippine Judges Association. Ito yung mga nag-hear, nagtatry ng cases ng mga PDL po natin. They are donating face masks sa mga jail facilities po natin. So from ito yung mga kinatatakutan ng PDL natin, pero we see the concern, the compassion that they are showing pagdating po sa mga PDL na may mga kaso po sa kanila. So all of our PDLs and personnel, they are wearing face masks.
What about that policy? I think about a month ago ba yun, or a month and a half ago, there were recommendations, I think, from the DOJ or from legislators that we need to release those detainees who've served, I think, 2/3 of their sentence, particularly yung mga senior citizens or those with comorbidities, para so that we don't increase the risk of them getting COVID-19. Was there ever such a program implemented to decongest the jails?
Yes, that's correct, Sir Cito. Actually, as far as the BJMP is concerned, since March 17 to April 30, we were able to release around 4,118 PDLs from the BJMP. More than 90 of them are elderlies. They're really our priority. But allow me to reiterate that we cannot just release a PDL without proper order. So their respective lawyers, the PAO, their private lawyers are doing the manifestation before the court, and there's a judicial process, no, na sinusunod naman po at hindi lang naman po kami magpapalaya without proper court orders. But of course, this is also with the intervention from the Office of the Court Administrator issuing a series of memorandum circulars for their respective courts. I mean, I'm referring to the trial courts, the municipal and the regional trial courts.
Okay. Now, let's go back. Let's go to the state of our BJMP personnel. I know that there have been reported cases of BJMP personnel who were infected with COVID-19, and then you also have quite a number of staff who are under observation, management, etc. What's the current situation?
Well, for our personnel, Sir Cito, yes, we have confirmed cases of personnel, no, under our care. I think we already recorded 107 confirmed cases in number of jails across the country. Good thing for our personnel, we're able to isolate them immediately kasi compare po sa mga PDL, we have to pass to the courts, no? Hindi po natin kagad pwede silang i-transfer. But for the PDL, we could easily direct them.
Time out, Xavier. You're telling me that before the BJNP can, like, let's say, okay, oy, si Beltran mukhang may sakit, mukhang symptomatic. Before you can even get Beltran out of his detention cell and transfer him to let's say, to a medical facility or isolation area, you need to get permission from the court?
Yes, that's correct po, Sir Cito. We cannot just transfer a PDL out of the facility to a medical facility. So ang ginagawa po natin dyan, since we know the condition of the PDL, kapag dinala po natin siya sa isang medical facility, we really have to inform the court, especially if medyo critical po yung condition niya. But of course, ang point lang po natin dito is we cannot just transfer or do any movement.
Yeah, but valid. Pero this is not one of those where it will take 3 days to 3 months before you get a court resolution.
That's correct, Sir Cito. Actually, in a day lang naman po. In a day,
okay.
Nakakapag-respond naman po yung court, and they already issued, no, a proper communication to the courts, and we already discussed it with them. Kaya hindi na po mahirap yon.
Okay, going back to the BJMP personnel, you said you monitored 100. How many?
107.
Okay. 107. Pero I'm hoping wala namang nadali. No one has died from coronavirus among the BJMP.
Yes, that's correct, Sir Cito. Asymptomatic naman po yung mga personnel natin. Wala pong in severe condition. Actually, they were, since the first case that we recorded, naka-recover naman po yung ating personnel and naka-home quarantine sila. And they are under close monitoring, not just by the BJMP, but the local epidemiology units.
Okay, wala pa bang mga scientists and medical researchers na nagpupunta sa BJMP to study the BJMP? Because I would think, and I don't want to make lab rats out of your detainees, no? But you are a confined community, subject only to visitation and to supplies from outside. So, and then now you have COVID-19, and one would think, wow, this would be a very interesting population sample to study on why they are not having the outbreak that the World Health Organization had expected would happen. Wala pa bang mga nagre-research yun sa mga BJMP facilities?
That's a very good point, Sir Cito. No? Actually, the Department of Health is continuously monitoring us. They have epidemiology students coming in our facilities and helping us in the studying or understanding the situation in our facilities. And I think they're doing a good progress kasi they were able to see the actual situation. They were there assisting
Mhm.
us, interviewing the PDLs, and I think they are getting a lot of information which are very useful in understanding the close setting of our facilities and how we should be dealing with it. And actually, the Department of Health, same with the World Health Organization, they've already issued their respective guidance on how we should be working on the situation we have now in our facilities. And they're also giving advices and additional technical personnel helping us with the situation.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that, Xavier, and congratulations. I will give you a passing grade from your communications module at the Development Academy of the Philippines. Just trying to cheer you up. I know you guys have such a tough job, and para dun sa mga nanonood, those who are watching, let's please erase our reference to the BJMP personnel as jail guards. Hindi po sila security guards. Many of them graduated from the PMA, and like Xavier has graduated a masteral course with the Development Academy of the Philippines. So let us rewrite our internal operating system that the BJMP is an organization of professionals. Thank you, Xavier, and we hope that all of you will stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. And God bless you.
Thank you, Sir Cito, and good morning po.
Okay, that's Chief Inspector Xavier Solda of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. And we've already covered education. We've touched on our concerns or the state of the BJMP, its staff, and its detainees. Now let's go to a friend, someone we have regularly interviewed on Agenda. We have with us a consultant of the Department of Transportation Technical Working Group. He was a former chief of the Land Transportation Office and someone I once referred to as an angry bird regarding angkas. We have Albert Suansing. Albert, are you there?
Yes.
Oh,
Cito.
okay,
Good morning, Cito.
Good morning. Hindi ka na angry bird. Anyway, just just cheering you up, but I wanted to find out, and I think many people in the National Capital Region, in particular, would like to get some feedback from the Department of Transportation. Medyo mahirap silang makonect ngayon because they've got so many projects. I know Secretary Tugade is up to his neck with projects, with policy implementations, etc. So you being a consultant, we were kind of hoping baka matulungan mo kami malaman ano na ba ang magiging direksyon for commuters under GCQ. What is the DOTr hoping to establish during GCQ?
The program of DOTr as far as transportation is concerned, what we're going to do, it's divided into two phases. The phase one, which is the reintroduction ng trains, buses, taxis, and TNBS. Yun ang phase 1 natin. From that phase 1 will be from June 1st to June 21. And yung phase 2, yan na yung reintroduction ng the rest of the buses, public vehicles, buses, and yung pati nakasama dyan yung mga modernized jeepneys, then kung kukulangin, pati na rin yung mga traditional jeepneys.
Okay, meron na bang actual agreed plan? Kasi I don't know if you had the chance to listen in at the beginning of the program, but Senate Pro Tempore Ralph Recto came out with a press statement yesterday na until and unless the government, and I think in particular he was referring to the DOTr, has come up with an agreed, approved, and implementable plan, dapat ay wag munang nagsasalita or nag-a-announce yung mga tiga-IATF and other officials. As far as the DOTr is concerned, are these just plans or meron na ba talagang, okay, ito, itagaan nyo sa bato, mangyayari ito?
Actually, the plan was cleared with the IATF na.
Mhm.
Nagbigay ng approval ang IATF as to how we will handle public transportation.
Okay, clarification on the buses, Bert. We, sorry, excuse me. We heard that the MMDA and the LTFRB has redesigned EDSA to a single specific route. Meaning, pag nagumpisa ka sa dulo ng EDSA, magtatapos ka sa kabilang dulo ng EDSA. You start from the beginning and end of EDSA. And no other buses will be allowed to pass through EDSA. Is this correct?
Yes. We call
Okay.
that carousel, ano?
Okay.
Ang tatakbo lang ng mga bus sa EDSA, no, for that matter, is yung i-allow ng LTFRB. There are about 150 units of those, 550 units of buses, ano, ang i-allow natin that will run along the EDSA corridor using the inner lane, ano, yung the lane next to the MRT.
So ito mangyayari, Monumento to MOA.
Monumento to MOA.
Okay, ang U-turn mo sa Monumento, ang U-turn mo sa kabila, MOA, and the
MOA.
buses will be using the LRT terminals as their drop-off points.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now,
Initially the terminals of LRT and MRT.
initially, okay.
Initially.
Now, but they're saying that the load factor will only be 25 to 30%. Ano ba yung accurate number, load factor na pinag-usapan and will be implemented?
Well, depende yan sa size ng bus, ano. Pero yung let's say for example yung 11-meter bus, ang load factor niyan is around 50%.
Mhm. Kasi mahaba siya.
We will be using low floor buses, ano. So mahaba yan.
Oh, okay, when you say low floor buses, yan yung mga bago. Those are modern buses. Yeah. Does this mean that the plan is also to phase out the old buses?
Hello? Yeah. Cito?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
What was sabi mo kanina?
Sabi mo kasi you will be using the low floor buses, yung mga modern buses na ginagamit nila sa Europe, sa China, sa Singapore. Pag ginawa ninyo yan dito sa EDSA, does it mean phased out na yung mga hindi bagong bus?
Hindi naman. They will be transferred to other routes, ano. Kasi Cito ang ginawa ng LTFRB from the 96 routes, ano, in Metro Manila, they have reduced that to 31 routes lang, ano.
Okay.
So maridistribute yung ibang bus doon sa 30 routes.
Okay, so no more. Paano ngayon yung mga commuters, yung mga manggagaling sa Calabar Zone, manggagaling sa Pampanga, Bulacan area who are working in Metro Manila? They have to get off at those PITX and the one in Valenzuela
and
Bocaue. So yung plano ng gobyerno noon na hindi matupad-tupad ay mapapatupad. Ngayon, yung ayokong sirain yung araw mo, no? Pero last time kasi tayo pinag-usapan natin yung angkas, kanya kita nabansagang Angry Bird. But now people are asking, actually, Bert, they're asking, what about the commuter, the motorcycle taxis? Ano ba yun? Mawawala ba yun? Or what's the plan or what's the agreement?
Well, as far as the motorcycles are concerned, bawal pa rin talaga yung mag-angkas sila. No, because of course it violates social standing. Social
distancing. Okay.
Oo. So bawal pa rin sila. And what we're doing right now is encourage them to do other business, like for example, magdala ng mga pagkain or parcels, ganun.
Mm. Okay, so in effect, kahit na mag-GCQ tayo, because of mobility issues, we will only be seeing at the most 50% of the working population back at work dahil wala pa ring masasakyan.
Yes. So
Okay,
we
what about...
estimate,
Oh, go ahead,
we
Bert.
estimate that ang lalabas na tao under PCQ is around 3 million no?
Okay.
3 million na tao yung lalabas sa under PCQ.
Okay. So, well, we will see. Last question ko na lang, Bert. Paano yung mga bisikleta at motorsiklo? Kasi mukhang at the moment, the preferred or the sensible mode of transport right now, both financially and because of mobility, would be bicycles and tricycles. MMDA, Bong Nebriha said that mas preferred nila yung elevated platform. What about the DOTr? So, suportahan ba ng DOTr ang bicycles and motorcycle protected platform?
Yes, actually that's one of the program of the OTR to encourage bicycle riding. But of course, we need to make it safe. Like for example, along EDSA, ang design niyan is meron silang sariling lane,
Yeah.
yung mga bicycles. Protected
Oh.
yun, mayroong barricade yan para na sa ganun hindi sila nag-mix ng mga ibang sasakyan.
Actually, may nag-submit na nga raw ng mga landscape architects on how to create these bus stops and these bicycle platforms to make the entire length of EDSA look more like a park than just a concrete highway. In any case, thank you, Bert. I think we got some clarity there, and we hope that there will be a confirmation in the form of an official announcement by Secretary Tugade. And please give him our regards. Thank you, Bert, and please stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. God bless you.
Thank you, Cito.
Okay, that's Mr. Bert Suansing, former LTO chief and current transportation consultant of the DOTr. Now let's go to the chairman of Commuters of the Philippines, Mr. Julius Dalay, to find out their inputs. Julius, magandang umaga sa'yo.
Magandang umaga, Sir Cito.
Okay, Julius, what are the concerns of commuters? Kasi pag-uusapan na yung GCQ this weekend and klaseng i-announce na yata sa linggo ng gabi, if I'm not mistaken, na kung babalik na tayo o pupunta na tayo sa GCQ. Now, nadinig mo siguro yung interview with Bert Suansing where it is confirmed many times over by other officials that maximum 50% lang ang makakaasa sa public transportation unless meron kang bisikleta o sarili mong motorsiklo. Could you share your thoughts?
Well, sa amin kasi, the biggest concern right now is nasabi na ni Engineer Suansing kanina na they're implementing this bus system, their carousel systems, they're pushing for the bikes and all protected. Pero kasi yung immediate na pagbalik mo dun sa GCQ, na sinasabi rin nila na hindi mo napapayagan yung buses, yung jeepneys sa pag-travel ng mga commuters. Pero nandun din kasi yung factor na pagdating ng GCQ, may mas malaking bulk na ng workforce na babalik sa mga trabaho, sa mga physical works nila. So paano yun given na 90% mahigit ang gumagamit ng road-based public transport araw-araw? Ilan lang ang linya ng tren sa Pilipinas? 4. So paanong magta-travel yung mga tao immediately once we come back to GCQ if hindi natin papayagan mag-traverse yung mga road-based public transport like jeepneys and buses? Siguro dapat ang nag-focus sila is more on the guidelines. Ano ba yung guidelines para ma-ensure pa rin yung social distancing? Hindi yung naipapasa na naman sa commuter. Paano kami maghahanap ng transportation mode namin? Then nabanggit din kanina yung bikes. Sure, sige, may bikes. Nagkaroon nga ng pilot si MMDA na bike lane sa EDSA nung isang araw. Pero they reverted na kailangan elevated. Tapos bawal daw gamitin ng bikes or electric mobility devices sa major roadways. So paano na naman yung taong, sige, walang public transport, maghahanap na lang ako ng, magbabike na lang ako. Kaya lang, hindi pwede, hulihin ako. So paano ako magta-travel yun? Maglalakad ako. Sabihin natin, ang work ko is from Manila all the way to QC. So we need to think, hindi lahat ng tao merong kotse, hindi lahat ng tao may motor, hindi lahat ng companies would provide a shuttle, especially dun sa mga tinatawag na small, medium enterprises na binanggit na rin sa mga hearing ng both chambers of Congress na nagpo-provide sila ng funding para tulungan mag-kickstart yung industry. Bagsak din yung ano nila bagsak din yung income nila, bagsak yung yung pinaka-pera nila ngayon dahil nga walang kinita for the past 3 months.
Umaasa pa ba kayo, Julius? I'm not putting this in a negative way, okay? Are you still hoping that somewhere, somehow, government can come up with a solution? Or isn't it about time for you to accept the fact, and hindi naman kita pinupukol, ano? But isn't it about time for many of our citizens to also accept na try as they can, the government can't solve everybody's problem, and we will have to find our own solutions. What is the mindset of your members, of the commuters?
Well, sa amin naman, if we're gonna look at the members, they're talking about solution. For example, some people buying bikes, buying electric scooters para lang makapunta from point A to point B. Sanay silang nagbabus, sanay nagte-tren, pero reduced ang capacity ng tren. Initially, walang bus, walang jeep. So, nandun na yung initiative to find a way. Kailangan lang namin is support of the government and put of the proper infrastructure, or as simple as pop-up bike lanes and all, para yung mga taong gumagahanap na ng solusyon, magamit nila yung nahanap nilang solusyon towards commuting sa trabaho.
That's a good point, Julius. No, it's good that you raised that, because you can find solutions for as long as government supports the use of those solutions. Kasi like sabi mo nga, may mga electric scooters, o yung mga tawag nga na, paano ba tawag natin nung bata kami, hindi ko na matandaan walang electric noon di padjak ng scooter no? But the fact is, yes, you can find and buy the solutions, but government needs to make sure that their rules and the infrastructure are agreed upon. Kasi may mga lugar na bawal yung electric scooter, may mga lugar na hindi nila magamit yung bisikleta, at maraming bayan na harang ng mga nakamotorsiklo. Now, matanong ko lang, as far as your members go, and I don't expect you to have the answers to the answer to this question, but may idea ba kayo, do you have any idea what is the average distance one way traveled or commuted by your members?
Well, kasi if you're gonna look at it in a way na, mahirap kasi magsabi ng average, pero if you're gonna look at it, Metro Manila alone, mostly ng mga residential areas are located in the north. QC, Caloocan, Manila. Pero if you're gonna look, nasaan ba ang trabaho? Ortigas, Makati, BGC, Alabang. So, andun na you imagine the distance. Every day kaya nagkakaroon ng clog up sa EDSA is because ganun yung laro every day ng mga commuters prior to the ECQ. So we're expecting na ganun din ang travel distance na abutin ng mga commuters natin. So provided na, sige, the EDSA bus carousel, we don't expect it to be implemented immediately. Yung MRT, bago pa man magkaroon ng ng ECQ, is malala na how much more na mag-reduce ka ng capacity at wala pang bus na nakaagapay. Imagine, kahit nasabihin mong 50% lang yung commuters na magta-travel dahil nga 50% lang yung workforce na required. Hindi ba parang ang hirap, mas malala pa rin given yung pila, yung social distancing. In fact, one of the things na pinopropose nga namin is, meron tayong Grab, meron tayong Angkas. They are app-based solutions na kung saan pwede ka mag-book ng sasakyan mo. Why can't we implement on the same things on our ferries, on our buses, on our trains, na kung saan para mapahikli natin yung pila dun on the stations itself, magbubook ako. For example, mag-MRT ako ng 10 a.m. sasakay ako ng North, bababa ako sa Ayala. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna book for a seat or a space in MRT by 10 a.m. at
Yeah.
North Avenue Station going to Ayala. So mamamanage mo rin na hindi lahat nakapila sa labas kasi you're expecting lines eh. You cannot,
You-
even if even if you're gonna look at yung mga nilagay na markers na LRT ng MRT sa labas ng stations, lampas na all the way to the private establishments, sa sidewalks andun na.
that's a brilliant suggestion. And that's why I love talking to you young people, because when you think of it, when my wife goes to the bank, before she goes, nag-appointment siya. Eh, dati, napaka-Jurassic ko, pumipila ako sa check-in sa airlines. Ngayon, natuto ko ngayon mag-online check-in. So, your suggestion is a brilliant solution where many commuters would be allowed to check in online or to book online, and then magkakaroon na lang ng special lane para doon sa mga nag-book. Total, and we cannot say na parang class discrimination yan, because kahit na yung magtataho merong smartphone. So there is no longer any excuse not to use the app. So okay, so your suggestion is, number one, if the government wants Filipinos to come up with their solutions, the government must support those solutions with one common rule and the infrastructure, and then your brilliant solution of letting commuters book online. Now, what other solutions? Sandali, matanong ko lang, Julius, baka tayo lang ang nakakadinig ng iyong mga suggestion at hindi naman kayo pinapakinggan itong mga kaibigan natin sa gobyerno.
Well, actually, coalition kami, Sir Cito, no? We're passing together with different groups of the same same base na ganito, ganyan. May connections naman kami with other government agencies. And in fact, later magre-release kami ng statement sa group namin on what could be done by the government. It has 10 key points, pero I'm just gonna speak about a few of the major points, like yun nga, isasabi naming app. And for example, meron pa kaming ibang pinag-usapan na social distancing, wherein pag tinignan mo yung marker sa bus, yung pinapropose ng marker sa bus, sa MRT, sa LRT, sa PNR, iba-iba yung mesh, iba-iba yung nakasulat eh. Sabi, ikaw, magkakaintindihan tayo. Pag sinabi mong, bawal dito.
Ganito na lang, Julius, no? Because I will give you the benefit to announce your policy statement first, and then pag-usapan natin maybe tomorrow or on Monday kung ano yung nilalaman ng press statement nyo, para hindi naman maudlot or maunahan ng agenda. No? Because fair is fair. Everyone must have fair access to brilliant ideas, and we do hope that there will be people listening to you. And if not, please let us know para kami rin ang mangungulit here on Agenda. Thank you very much, Julius.
Thank you, Sir Cito.
Great conversation, and please stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, and God bless you.
Same.
Okay, that's Julius Dalay, Chairman, Commuters of the Philippines. And now we go to our next and final interviewee. We have with us Dr. Abigail Rivera. I don't think we have time for anything else except, there we go. We want Dr. Abigail Rivera. Maubos na oras ko, hindi ko pa nakakausap yung doktora. Okay, good morning, doktora. Please check your microphone. I think it's on mute.
Sorry, okay.
Okay, there you go. Good morning. Looking great. May I know your thoughts? I specifically requested for someone like you because I need to know, or we all need to know, the medical considerations about letting children out pag nagka-GCQ na, and letting children to back to school if and when.
Okay, so, I think one part of this this whole COVID-19 pandemic is that one fact about it is with regards to children, the data from other countries has shown that there are less cases among children. So if we look at the data in other countries, the cases in children only range from 1 to 5%. So that's actually that's something good. And then most of these cases in children are milder as well compared to adults. So only around 6% progress to a severe or critical illness. So I think that's one fact that parents should always be keeping in mind. So there are less cases and there are milder cases in children. However, of course, as a parent, there's always that fear of their children getting infected with COVID-19 or with the SARS-CoV-2. So I think what DepEd is planning to do is a blended learning. So I'm also teaching. I'm a assistant professor in UERM, and so for the coming school year, so that's what we plan to do. We still plan on doing online classes for now until this pandemic will really start to be controlled.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now what about the reverse, Doctora? Because the reverse would be it's not the children being seriously affected by COVID, but it's the children bringing home COVID. Sabi nga nung ibang nakausap ko, it's very much like mumps and measles. Some of these kids will bring it to their classroom or bring it to their home.
Yeah, that's true. So, but looking also at data from other countries, I believe it's in China. There were only a few. Looking at the household transmission, there were only a few cases of children transmitting to adults. So they're not really the main drivers of transmission. However, yes, there's always that possibility. And then another study, I think in China as well, showed that there were no cases transmitted from children. So they're not really the main drivers. However, yes, there's always that possibility. That's why if schools do decide to really operate again or open their campuses, then they should strictly observe still protocols. So with social distancing, AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics, has also made some recommendations, like maybe there should be phased reopening, so not all of them go back to school at once, and then always tapos pwedeng may staggered scheduling. So and then also always observe social distancing. So protocol should be in place before this is really carried out.
Okay, what about children to children? Because multiple concerns eh. Yung iba sabi, mag-ingat ka Cito because yung katulad sa beke or moms, it's dangerous to the adults, not to the children. Or with measles, it's children contaminating children. What was the data globally? Because you obviously have been studying the data in different places. What is the data showing in terms of children-to-children infection in communities?
Well, sorry. So most of these children, really looking at the data, most of the children really got it from their household. Well, mainly maybe because this is in China. They already locked down. So they implemented the lockdown. So maybe that's why the children really didn't have the opportunity or the chance to be infected from school. So that was the most probable reason. So most of these children actually got it in their household. So they were the ones infected.
Okay, what is the danger of such conditions? Kasi 'di ba may mga there have been medical events in the past where people kind of say like even with COVID-19, people treated it like the flu. What are the risks or danger of us getting too confident or being going easy na mga bata yan, they're bulletproof? Because I remember that was a situation about a month ago. People were saying, oh no, it doesn't affect children, and then children started getting sick. In fact, I think in New York they are now studying, and the World Health Organization is also looking into this child-specific COVID-related serious infections.
Yes. Mm-mm.
What have you learned about this? Itong related conditions among children only. I think the worst cases is in the UK and in New York.
Yeah. So there have been reports about, so like I mentioned earlier, around 6% of these children will develop severe or critical illness. So actually around 5% severe, and then those progressing to critical, so those are the ones who get intubated or who may die, are around
Uh-huh.
actually less than 1%, around 6.6% only. So there have been
Okay.
reports that have come up with COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 being associated with a multi-inflammatory system syndrome. Okay, so because we have to remember that the ACE inhibitors or the receptors that the virus binds to are also found in our blood vessels. So somehow it triggers, if the virus binds to these receptors in our blood vessels, then they may trigger an inflammatory response. So you're sort of in a hyperinflammatory state. So all your blood vessels are getting inflamed. So that's why this severe type of response may be found in children as well.
Okay.
So
So
somehow similar to Kawasaki disease, if you're familiar with the
yeah,
disease.
yeah, Kawasaki disease. So the good news, Dr. Abigail, is that in terms of population and statistics, the outbreak among children is not as wide as it is in adults. So
Yes.
that's the good news. Second is it tends to be milder or mild in comparison to adults, but we're still reminding parents, if there are symptoms or signs, bring your children to the hospital right away, because early detection and early treatment gives you a higher rate of survival. Correct po ba?
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
but I would like to remind parents as well to actually, if your child only has mild symptoms, then you can opt for telemedicine. So that's
Mhm.
really the direction right now, is telemedicine.
Okay, well, leave it at that, Doctora, and thank you for at least reassuring our parents na they should first take care of themselves and just kind of hover over the children, but don't
Yeah.
panic. Thank you, Dr. Abigail Rivera, and hello to your associates at the Rizal Medical Center and the University of the East. Ano ba yung Ardon? Ramon Magsaysay Center Hospital.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you very much,
you.
Laura. Okay,
Okay.
please stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Dr. Abigail Rivera, at least giving us the pediatric insight to COVID-19. We have run out of time. We've gone over time. My apologies to the studio and to the staff. We thank you for joining us this morning. Please join us tomorrow again, and please do share the site, the show with others, so others may learn, and we could also get feedback from all of you. Thank you. I'm Cito Beltran, and that's Agenda for today. God bless all of you.